Hey everybody, let's salsa! Okay, let's stop salsaing. Yeah, so hey, we're gonna play Tropico 4, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with this crazy tropical island racist sexist paradise. It's gonna be so much fun. For those of you who don't know, Tropico 4 and the Tropico series in general is basically you are like the supreme dictator of an island in the Caribbean, and you can do things. You can do good things or bad things. Um, Basically, I like to think that it's kind of a political sim. Basically, um, it's kind of a um, yeah, like essentially like a kind of a poli-sci sim, where you I don't want that. Where you basically have to appease and work with different political factions. Um, let's we're going to fix things around a little bit. Let's make a nice long game length, or do we want to? Let's go to 1990. Um, and right here you can choose. There's several factions on the island. There's capitalists, communists, intellectuals. That's like a nice way of saying liberals, basically. LOL. The religious, militarists, environmentalists, nationalists, and loyalists. Nationalists and loyalists are pretty similar, but they're kind of different. Nationalists are basically racists, and loyalists are people that just love you, just for you being you. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna go like that, and I'm gonna make my own character. One of the interesting things I discovered is that, the default here is male. Um, if you go to female, you can be a female dictator, but she has not as many outfits as the male. I mean, she has like this kind of business attire, sort of this nice dress, hippie outfit, Wild West, like inexplicably. Um, Kind of a dress, like naval uniform, sexy pirate, and then it says casual. Um, it doesn't say sexy pirate, it says pirate queen, but I mean, look at that cleavage. Like, okay, whatever. But male has more options. Bouncer, casual, greaser, el concierge, admiral, tuxedo, pirate, general, union leader, generalissimo, traditional, kingpin, Elvis, luchador, mayor, vigilante. Uh, my goal for this game is actually, for this particular playthrough, is going to be to try and create essentially a liberal paradise, if possible, on my island. What I'd like to do is to try and create a an island that has lots of freedom, um, uh, lots of opportunity for social advancement, socially progressive, and also, if I can, low income inequality, which I think that would be nice. So, you can choose like your character, like you can choose their background, how they got into power, and their traits, and that affects your gameplay to a large degree. So for background, I'm not going to go through all these because there's a bunch, but basically I want to be sort of a liberal kind of cool, guy. I can be a leftist author, and that gives me plus 10 respect with the communists, plus 15 respect with the intellectuals, and 20% faster education and skill training. That's actually really good. Of course, I could do that I could be a professor and have 20 plus intellectual faction respect and 50% faster education. I think I'm going to go with that. And then how I rose to power. How you come into power affects people's expectations of you. So if you like took over in like a military coup, people don't really expect you to be a nice guy. Um, but let's say I'm going to take over via Velvet Revolution. Um, and then that's going to give me more respect with intellectuals. So then you can choose your traits, like basically who are you, like as a person. I'm in favor of education, so I'm going to be scholarly, because having faster education is really, really important in this game, because a lot of the jobs that you create on your island require education. So I'm going to do that. Um, let's see, what else? I am, let's see, I'm well traveled, so I'm going to be popular with other nations in the game. And, let's see, how about, say I'm an activist, so I'm going to have more respect with the environmentalist and intellectual faction. So I'm basically like the liberal hero. I'm white Obama. Ruffle. Sorry. Um, okay, and here's my island. It's been randomly generated for me. Um, so, this is what you start off with. You start off with a presidential palace, a construction office, a tenement for people to live in. There's some houses right here. These are just shanties. A teamster office. Teamsters basically, they take supplies from one place to another automatically. And then here's two corn farms. And I have all that, and then I have a port right here. And that's literally it. This is my nation right now. Um, pretty spare. But we're gonna improve things. Um, so I'm gonna build a road from here to the port so that supplies can be moved. Um, Supplies and people can travel without roads. They can just like go through the jungle, but that's very slow and inefficient, and it's not it's not it's not a good idea. So roads are good. Infrastructure is good. Um, so staying in kind of the long-term goal of this game is to do what you want to your nation, to kind of mold your nation into the nation that you want, but also by remaining in power. Um, your citizens, depending on their expectations of you, they kind of demand elections every couple of years. The lower their expectations, the less often they demand elections. You don't have to actually have elections. I mean, they can demand elections, and then you can just say no. But if you do that, they're more likely to become rebellious, and you're more likely to get overthrown. You can fight, rebels by having a big military and a big police force. But then you have to really appease your military and your police force, because now they're basically keeping you in charge. And so really you've just replaced like one constituency with another, and now you have to basically listen to your military all the time. Um, so as I was saying earlier, it's kind of a political sim. So we have $24,000 right now. What we really need to start off with is we want to make some food so that the people can eat. And I have a population, I don't know if you can see that, I have a population of 60 and a happiness rating of 50%. The higher that rating is, the better. Um, but we want food so people can eat. So let's build a fisherman's wharf. Um, we're gonna build it right here, or we could even build it right there. Okay. Um, you can look at natural resources. So this is a map overlay of natural resources. This is like fishing areas basically, and the brighter the green color, the more fish that there are. Here in front of the port, it's not that great because there's always ships coming and going, and the water's kind of polluted. But we'll get some fish for the time being right there. Um, we're also going to look for crop conditions, see what kind of crops we can grow. So this is the overlay for corn. Corn is very handy. People like to eat corn. They make tortillas. Banana, papaya, pineapple, and then you have your cash crops, coffee, tobacco, and sugar. People don't, your citizens don't eat coffee, tobacco, or sugar, but you can export them and make a lot of money. And incidentally, a lot of countries, a lot of developing countries have this problem where they find themselves growing food or growing cash crops instead of food because they get more money from cash crops, and then people end up going hungry because they're not really getting the money. So it looks like papaya has like some good growth potential right here. So we're gonna make a papaya farm. Papaya. And bam. So it's kind of an outline right now. It hasn't been built yet. What happens is your constructors, who are these little guys, when you click on the building, it tells you where the workers are. These guys are going to work, and they're going to go build this farm, and it shouldn't take too long. Um, Housing is kind of an interesting issue. The people on your island, if you don't have a house for them to live in, they'll just build shacks. The problem is that, like, if you see over here in housing quality, shacks have a housing quality of 10, which is really, really low. And so people who live in shacks are pretty unhappy. And when people are unhappy, they rebel or they vote against you. Here's a tenement. It's like a big apartment complex, and lots of people live there. And the housing quality is 35, which is not good. It's not that great, but it's definitely better than a shack. Okay, so I got my fisherman's wharf. Here's a ship that's coming in the dock. It's gonna... no, it didn't take anything because I haven't made anything yet. So I've got a fisherman's wharf and a papaya farm. I'm gonna start making some cash crops because I am very liberal and maybe quasi-socialist, but I do believe you have to have some kind of economy to have nice things, because you want nice things, right? So we're gonna have nice things. We're gonna sell coffee. Coffee is pretty expensive, and you can sell it for a lot of money. So that's cool. The funny thing about this game, I'll just say this before I go, is that even if you can approach, your leadership style as like a diehard capitalist, like you can choose all of your options as being like a huge capitalist, but in this game, the game mechanics work to where the government actually pays everyone's salary, and all of the profits from the businesses go to the government. So really, it's actually essentially a communist society, even if you're a capitalist. I don't think that's an ideological statement on the part of the game developer. I think that they did that just to make it more fun. Because if you were a capitalist and you acted like a capitalist, then you would you wouldn't have much of a role in the island's economy. You would basically just kind of try to encourage businesses to start on your island, and that's maybe more realistic, but it's not as fun. So they kind of sacrifice some realism, I think, for the sake of fun, which that's fine. I mean, it's a game, LOL. So that's what it's there for. Anyway, we'll pause for now, and we'll be back later. Thank you.